What's up, brothers and sisters? This is Brother G World 7_D. Um, I'm going to do another video about history sometime this week. So, just going to think about what I'm going to do because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. But I want to make a quick video on this African lady who's at a speed dating event, and she attacked the gentleman. Well, she said some disparaging comments from the gentleman where I guess, didn't want nothing to do with her. First off, I don't know. I would not even ask that lady about food, or I mean, he could ask her about food, but she could have just said, "Look, I didn't grow up with sweet potatoes, but I could learn more about it and everything." But she got very nasty, and then talking about slave food, and she knows where she's from. I know where I'm from, and I found her comment to be very ignorant and truly disrespectful. Um, Someone though, I believe, posted her business. I know on the African Diaspora channel, one of the channels that stated that she's in Miami, but I think her business had been posted up. It was in Park Forest, Illinois. Park Forest, Illinois is a predominantly black south suburb. Um, the south side is mostly black, but you have some white people in the near south side. The white people generally in the south side generally are Irish, because you do have some over west, but a lot of areas are either taken by black people or Spanish-speaking people, mostly of Mexican descent. Especially when you go like towards Midway, and then the south, way where you're heading towards Hammond, you have the east side and Headwatch. That's mostly Mexican. They used to be white. South Chicago is like black, Mexican, and then you used to have ethnic whites. It's mostly black and Mexican. There's still some ethnic whites there, but it's mostly black. But a lot of the Mexican population in that area been there for years. They not no recent people who came there. Maybe a few, but most of them been there for years. I mean years. Because that Wisconsin steel factory used to be over in that area. Um, but yeah, I believe her business, from what was posted, is in Park Forest, Illinois. That is where I want to say Park Forest is where the old Rich East High School was at. So that's what the Rich Township High Schools. That's out there. Craig Hodges went to school out there. I think the former Michigan, Steve Fisher, former University of Michigan and San Diego State basketball coach, used to coach at Rich East High School. Back in the day, where originally it was white, and then it became black. You had Park Forest, and you had Park Forest South, which is now University Park. But get to the point of her business, I believe, is over in the south suburbs. And a lot of the Africans here in the city of Chicago, most of them are up north, but you're starting to see some on the south side. You see few on 79th Street. I know there's a church on 90th and Stony Island, and it used to be the Vernon Park Church of God. They built that church because they was at another church, and they built that one. And they moved out, I want to say, to Linwood, Illinois, because I was wondering what them niggas, they used to double park. They moved out to Linwood, Illinois, and now it's basically an African Christian church. And then across the street, you basically have like African Muslims at this little small place that was near the old library, the Avalon Branch Library, which they built a new one, which is 81st, I believe, in Stony. And out in Dalton, I know that you have some Africans out in Dalton, which is a predominantly black suburb, because I see them in the Food for Less. That's just right out the city of Chicago, Dalton, Illinois. When you think of Dalton, you probably think of Dalton, Georgia, but Dalton, Illinois is a south suburb where Thornridge High School is at. School that Quinn Buckner went to, a basketball player, former basketball player with the University of Indiana and the Boston Celtics. He was in the Indiana undefeated team back in '76, Bob Knight, and he was on the Celtics NBA championship team. I know he was on the '86 team. I don't know if he was on the '84 team, but He played with Larry Bird and Robert Parrish and Dennis Johnson. But so you do have some Africans in Dalton. I see them, you know, in the Food for Less and some Caribbeans, but which I was kind of shocked. I said, most of the time they don't want to be around. You don't really see around black people like that. Only Africans I remember was a few South Africans. I remember, and then South Shore always had some Haitian population, but there's some Africans there in South Shore because we had Rainbow Beach. So you're wearing soccer shirts. You know what I'm saying? So you see them there in the South Side now. You didn't see them on the South Side like that, except for a few. I knew one guy who was from Ghana, and his mother still lives in the South Side. But this is back, man, when I was real little. This is like about the late '80s, and this dude was he was I remember he made the joke. We was playing fastball, and this Negro claimed he went to CBS for 4 years. That's the school that Juwan Howard went to, Keena Turner went to, Dick Buckus went to. One of the other football players went there. But at the Chicago Vocational, we call it the V in Chicago. He had claimed with it, and he claimed with the Olive Harvard, which is the city college of Chicago, and he couldn't hit the damn ball, but he claimed he played on the baseball team. The dude ended up going down to Central Illinois, Bloomington and Peoria area. He became a big time drug dealer, and he ended up killing a few people. But then he was deported to the UK. Then they sent him back to Ghana. So, but his mother still lives here on the southeast side, of the city. But that comment, but most Black Americans really are not really near Africans like that. I know in the city of Chicago, all right? Because like I said, most of them are north. But her comments though represent a type of thinking that I've been hearing too much. And we constantly hear, it's the older generation, but I was looking at a particular YouTuber when the dark skin, it was a dark skinned American chick, lady, and she was talking about how the term African booty scratcher was used for just dark skinned black people. And I'm a dark brown person. I was never called an African booty scratcher, though. But she was mentioning that, and then some of these African girls came in, and they was like attacking her for what she said, and I was like, what? Had me scratching my head. She said nothing really negative. Actually, she was just saying it was like it's come across as one-sided. See, most black people here in America, we don't really compare ourselves to white people. I mean, to Africans. Unfortunately, some of my people compare themselves to white people, which is just as bad. So that's bad. But we don't compare ourselves to Africans like that. It seems like they try to compare themselves to us or have some kind of challenge. And then looking at some lady who was at HBCU school, talking about Nigerians versus Black Americans. Like, you at HBCU school? What are you talking about? If you don't like Black Americans that much, go to a PWI. But I know some of them at HBCU school. I know some of them attend some of the local colleges that are predominantly black in the south side of Chicago. They have not Prairie State, that's a 2-year school. Governor State and Chicago State, and they're there. They're there in a nice number at Chicago State and Governor State. Africans and Caribbeans. A lot of Africans claim not to like black people. A lot of them. I ain't say all. But a lot of them like that, man. They don't want nothing to do with Black Americans, but you willing to go into Black American spaces, man. That makes no sense. If you don't like Black Americans, then hey, so be it. It's no love lost, man. And I'm not saying this is to all, but most Black Americans don't think of Africans like that. You don't get down with you like that. So we basically be trying to challenge each other from different regions, this state versus that state. Now, Illinois has a little rivalry with Indiana, somewhat Michigan. Michigan has a rivalry with Ohio, whatever, and somewhat Illinois. So it's more like that. So we don't really have a rivalry with Africans like that. And for her to make that dumbass statement, man, it's just very, truly insulting. And then, sweet potatoes are a natural plant, here in America. If you go a lot of these black outings, you'll see sweet potatoes and you see corn. Naturally here to the Americas, man. So I don't, for her to say slave food, sweet potatoes are not slave food. And it just tells you how ignorant she is to black American history, man. You have the issue over in Woodline where the people were complaining about the Woodline area. And that's near Stony Island. It's near Stony Island, and it's where I want to say Hyde Park is. I don't know if that Hyde Park High School is in Woodline or it's in Hyde Park. I think it's in Woodline, whatever. But the Woodline area, well, that's where I believe they're building the Obama Presidential Library. Brazier's Church is over there. The old Bishop Brazier, and then our son, I believe, is running it. The train lines come further out, but it was Brazier had the train line knocked off, so it only goes like a block off of Cottage Grove. It doesn't go all the way over, like almost near Stony, but the Presidential Library of Obama is over in the Woodline area, and they're dropping off a lot of those immigrants in that area, and the people are not complaining. And a lot of those immigrants have been weaponized against black Americans. When they come here to this country, man, they teach them, don't fool with black Americans. It's like a hatred towards us. But our problem is here in black America, we've been too loving and too embracing to people. Not all skin folks are kin folks. And we need to understand that. Just because you're black, that don't mean that you're my brother. And unfortunately, the mistake a lot of brothers and sisters made in the 60s and probably in the 70s, they just seen just being black as one, and that doesn't work. That was their mistake. And some of them have admitted to it, some of them won't own up to it. They've done some good things back in that area, that decade, the brothers of the 60s and 70s, but they made some mistakes. And they made some mistakes. They made numerous mistakes, and that's one of them. Concern themselves with other people's issues instead of just worrying about our issues. And that's what our main focus should have been just us building what we have here, us here. And once we get ourselves totally right, then you can help out others. But, you can't, you got a lot of these immigrants come over here. And I'm going to focus on black immigrants. These other immigrants are just as bad. But these black immigrants come over here, and they come into black spaces. They take scholarships at Ivy League schools that are supposed to be for either black Americans or, like I said, 10 HBCU schools, and they have this negative, nasty attitude towards black people. Like African Takeover Day, and there's nothing wrong. You can have African Celebration Day, but African Takeover Day at an HBCU school? Don't make no difference. I don't make no sense to me. And then I know about these HBCU schools. How you have a lot of these foreign professors, man. They have a nasty attitude towards black Americans. And then a lot of them, some of them you can't understand what they're saying. And then their teaching method is not the greatest, man. Because they do a lot of things. Most of your teachers will have you'll do a group project, but then you have your assignments and do your tests and stuff like that, and your quizzes. Some of these foreign teachers, man, they just have you do a group assignment, and then that's your grade. That's the bulk of your grade. That's 80% of your grade, or at least 50% of your grade. That makes no sense, man. A group project like that. But a lot of them are like that. A lot of them, like I said, you can't understand them. A lot of them, it's hard to reach them at the school. A lot of them are not the greatest teachers. Let me be honest with you. And unfortunately, you have a lot of them at HBCU school. Trust me, you do. And they have, like I said, they have a very nasty attitude toward black Americans. And it's sad. You don't need to be there, man. Go to BYU or something if you want to be around white folks so much. But get away from the black community. So this mess it's sort of like ingrained in a lot of these individuals when they come here, and they pass it on to their children, and this girl obviously was raised, I believe she's Cameroonian descent. First they were saying she was Nigerian, but she's Cameroonian descent. A lot of these individuals were raised within the black culture. They and she was using black mannerisms, but she would hate black people. All she's doing is appropriating black culture because she don't have the respect for black people. And I don't know why some of you brothers would even want to date her, man. Date somebody like that. Because like, I hear some of you brothers, you're attacking a lot of sisters here. And there's a problem with some women here, but you have a lot of good women here that you can be with, that you can get with, that you can build with. Not all the women here are gold diggers. But you go run to a lot of these foreign women and you're dealing with a lot of them have a deep level of self-hatred in a lot of these other countries, man. And you can tell how they bring that stuff here, the self-hatred for black Americans. It comes from being in those countries and the cultures of those countries that they come from. So I really think that we need to really build here relationship wise. I really am hesitant. I think a lot of black Americans should just build amongst our own first. Not only just build financially and business wise, structure wise, but relationship wise. I've known several brothers who will trash black women here and say they're gonna go to another country, and they get women from other countries. Some of them they bring them here, but some of them are already over here, and they say nasty things about black American women, and they gas the head up of these foreign-born black women, and then they end up trashing black American women. I knew a dude who he made the statement. I found out from a lady. He set me up on a date one time with a Belizean girl, and he just set me up a date with her. And she had told me that he said he'll never date another black American woman again. I said, huh? And I was like, what? This nigga actually said that. He would never date another black American woman again. Then I said something. She said, I'm not. That's a black American woman thing. I don't do that. I was like, what do you mean you don't do that? And then I had to check her. And she backed off what she said. And then her attitude started changing. But yeah, he said that. Who said that? You won't date another black American woman again. I was like, oh my God. And this Negro actually said that. And he gassing up. And now he lives in a predominantly black area in the South Side, where you have black women married to their American black women married to American black men, and in good relationships. And he says that, and he lives in the area with them. Only if they knew how that Negro felt, But that's why I have some issues with the so-called passport bros. I didn't say all of them, but you don't sit there and trash your own and then uplift some of these other women when a lot of them have their problems are even worse, man. The colorism and self-hate in a lot of these other countries just is at a Herculean level, man. It is at a crazy level. So we got to really start loving ourselves, because a lot of these other black people, man, they have a serious deep level of self-hate. They have a serious deep level of self-hate, man, that you hear it. And this doesn't apply to all, but too many. It's too many. And the issue of Meek Mills having his phone taken away from him, he ended up getting it back. And then I heard that he was called a kata. I let you know, man. No, man. We can't do that, man. When I'm hearing that jazz music was created by so-called Caribbeans, blues music by Africans, R&B by Africans, and hip-hop by Caribbean, I just start shaking my head. Are you serious? Now I'm hearing people say that was music that was created by Aboriginal black Americans. But now that's being stolen from us by a certain groups of black people. Really? No. Black Americans have made an impact on this world globally. Aboriginal Black Americans have made a major impact on this world globally. And so to belittle us, to regulate us to just quote a slave culture is insulting. That's why I get mad when brothers and sisters say, "Oh, I'm descendant of African slaves," but most of our ancestors are already here. They were already here. You had your black empires here in America. I'm gonna keep talking about that as well. I'm just talk about people globally, but I would really harp on that. But we really gotta get certain things together. But we cannot sit up here also and allow people to disrespect us, man. That's gotta stop. We need to view a lot of these foreign blacks as like we view white folks. A lot of these other immigrants as like we view white folks. They're showing to be an enemy, to be our enemy, not our friends. I can remember going to the African Festival of Arts, which is held out in Washington Park every year in Chicago, and I remember going with this sister, and she had children from this Belizean dude who really had nothing to do with her or the kids, though, man. But she, but me and her, we had went out, and man, this is, I don't know, I mean, about like 10 years ago or something like that. But we had went out. Was it 10 years ago? No, 9 years ago. Yeah, whatever. We had went out, and we went to the African Festival of Arts. And as we were out there, this we were speaking to some of the vendors, and we spoke to one black vendor from Detroit, brother from Detroit. He had some nice mirrors. He had one mirror shaped in the afro. It was cool. And then this one vendor had this big ass statue with nails up in there, right? And one of the vendor's sisters, she came over there. She said, "I wonder how much that costs." We was trying to wait and speak to the guy, and he was ignoring the other black lady and myself and the black woman who I was with. He was ignoring her and just catering to all the white people over there. And then he said, man, we asked him how much it costs. He said, it's worth like about $27,000. Okay, so why don't you have that big ass thing out here in the public? Why don't you have that in the museum or something, man? And then he got a little attitude, when we asked him that question. He just rolled his eyes. And we could have supported the dude. We thought about, getting a little something, but his attitude was nasty. Then we went over to this other dude, and he had some similar statue with nails up in there, and it cost like about $800 something. And the sisters I went, she said, "Well, I only got like $60 in, on me, loose change." She obviously had a credit card and stuff like that. This idiot gonna sit there and say, "Well," because she asked him how much it was. "Well, you cannot buy this. What you can do with your $60? Go get you some food. You can go buy you some food over there." I said, that was so damn rude, man. She just asked you how much it cost. She said, "I only had $60. She was trying to joke with him. He got serious and nasty attitude. I said, man, please, man. This place is a joke. They had a Michael Jackson impersonator up there. He was pretty good. Rico, whatever the dude name was. And I think New Edition was there the day before or something like that. But I thought that was rude as hell. And I was sitting next to some white guy because I was waiting on her. And she went to the washroom. And this white guy was talking about how, his daughter married an African and everything, and how, that's why he loves the culture and everything. He's over there. I'm supposed to saying, that's another thing, man. They come over there and chase these white women or light-skinned black women. Because I've seen it in college campus how they chase light-skinned black women. But he was, he was talking about how nice they were to him at the African Festival of Art, but they were nasty to us. So I'm like saying, oh man, this is crazy as hell. But The moral to what I'm saying, man, because I believe my time is about. I don't have that much time. The recording is that a lot of these individuals, they come here with animosity towards us, and they bring that tribalism stuff. Look, man, that's not cool. It was in the South where the lady said she didn't hire black hairdressers. I think a lot of black American women should not patronize a lot of those African businesses if they had that hatred towards you. Some of these sisters, you can do it yourself or go to a black American um, hairdresser. You want to get your hair done, because I've heard some horror stories how some of them got a little nasty attitude, talking down to them, while they in the shop. I've heard this. It's sad, but you coming over to a land that my people built, but you carrying the attitude that you hate us. If you hate us, hey man, that's fine, man. I ain't losing no sleep over it. But to that African, that Cameroonian lady who did what she did, that chick did what she did, disrespectful, don't support her business, black women, black American women, don't support her business. Come together as a group, collectively, and then support a black American business who does hair. Alright? Do that. You don't have to deal with that, man. Treat these other individuals, foreign blacks, like you should be treating like these Koreans, man, who over here disrespect you in the neighborhood. Don't support them. Don't support these businesses, man. Don't support them. Because if they're going to be disrespectful to you, then you don't really need to deal with them, man. Don't deal with people who have no respect for you. This is why I cannot embrace Pan-Africanism. It is dead. And a lot of these Pan-Africans will not address this issue. They just want to blame everything on black Americans. And a lot of them, man, that's why a lot of most black Americans don't even respect like these Pan-Africans. They view them as the joke. And they really are. Because they only go attack the Americans for saying something, but they never attack or talk about a lot of these foreign groups, how they attack Americans, particularly coming from the African side. Some Caribbeans, but particularly from the African side. You don't say nothing to them. You just want to blame black America, like the idiot Dynasty Amir said they're saying that what that idiot Akon said was partially right. It wasn't partially right. Nothing right with the idiot was saying. And Afro beats has taken a lot from black American culture, black American style. Even its origins of it, man, has like a little black funk jazz influence. So I don't see how you gonna sit there and trash black American, praise Afro beats. Personally, if you hate black people that much, then don't complain about having awards and Soul Train. The Soul Train Awards should just be about black American music, black American culture. Same thing for BET. All right, BET, Soul Train Awards, Hip Hop Awards should be totally about black Americans. If you feel that way about black Americans, you hate us that much, those award shows should not have those foreigner categories, that foreign music category. It shouldn't. It should be just black American. If you're so much better than us, then create your own infrastructure that just celebrates your own music and your own culture. Do not come upon and take up black American space. Don't do that. Because what you're doing is showing that you are a culture vulture and you're appropriating black culture and you know different from them goddamn white folks. Man. You know different. And it shows me that a devil can come in blackface too. So I had a lot to say to that. But I want to really say that. Because I think black Americans should just focus on black Americans first and foremost. Not to say that we cannot have no relationship with certain black brothers and sisters around the globe, but our thing should be for black Americans first. Even when it comes to finding artists, there's so much talent, black Americans here within the United States. We should look here first before looking out. We should build here first before going out. This is our history and this is our culture. This is ours. We should build in first before going out. Even with these HBCU schools, they need to get more black Americans to attend their school instead of trying to get foreigners there. Not to say no foreigners cannot go there, but black Americans should be the main ones to go there. All right. Even with these black fraternities and sororities, I really can't stand them. But if these individuals feel that way, and I heard this chick try to pledge for Delta or something, they shouldn't be allowed in those organizations. They shouldn't be allowed those fraternities and sororities. If you feel that way about black Americans, don't join their fraternities and sororities. Create your own. If you hate black Americans that much, I don't think some of them should be part of the Prince Hall Mason Society or the Easter Stars. I don't care for that stuff, but they shouldn't be part of that. If you feel that way about black Americans. And I think a lot of those black American groups should really reevaluate themselves, allowing foreign blacks in their organization, in their structured organizations. They shouldn't do that. If you feel that way, there's too much of stuff happening. I think that you need to have a lineage, a black American lineage in these organizations. Like I said, I personally care for these organizations. I think they bootleg organizations, but I personally don't think they should have foreign blacks up in it. If you feel this way about black Americans, you should not be there. And I personally still don't. I think structurally they should just be for black Americans. Period. Because it's gotten to the point that I'm hearing this too frequently. And I've been known this, but this happened too frequently. So to all you black, you little AKAs, you're putting all these little foreigners up in there, close the door. Close the door to that. Don't allow individuals to use you, get their come up off of you and bounce. Like, I had no problem with foreign actors coming over here and act. I do have a problem with them playing historical figure roles here in America. They shouldn't be doing that. And then you listen to some of the statements they make. It's asinine. It should be for people of a particular background. That even for if you're doing a character over with Mandela, I think they should get somebody over in South Africa to play the role. But generally, these movie companies are American-based companies. So you're getting American, but they're getting these foreign actors because these foreign actors, they don't carry the quote, the stigma of racism like the black people here who are from here. They cannot really relate to what we've been here through. I mean, they can experience racism, but they cannot relate to what we've been here in America. No one can relate to us but us, and the type of racism we've been through here in America. Other areas had their racism is uniquely their way, but here in America we have our unique way of racism, the racism that we deal with. So this is what I really think. Now that's what I think that should happen now. Black Americans need to focus on black Americans. And these black entertainers, the stuff that I'm hearing with the Kendrick Lamar, Ari Lennox, I don't think they should be going to Africa. Right now, I don't think they need to be going to Africa. I think they need to just focus on here. Building schools here. Don't talk about building schools in Africa. Do everything here. Build for your people here. There's too much homeless in LA, throughout these major cities. Build here in America. Build your people here, for your people here. All right. Umar Johnson insults black Americans, but yet he gets most of the money for black Americans. But he never talks about these foreigners from these other lands, how the dirty stuff they're doing to black Americans, some of the stuff that they're saying. You never hear that from that dude. That's why people don't really care for his school. And personally, the stuff he's saying, I would not send no kid to his school because he's giving them misinformation. So, that's what I wanted to say. I'm going to end it, man. It's been kind of long. Hell, it's almost 35 minutes. But this is G World. I'm over. I'm out, brothers and sisters.